Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. So we're heading into Double or Nothing later today, whenever this gets posted on Sunday. But first of all, happy Memorial Day weekend. We've already had Saturday night's main event. I've made no secrets about it, that I was very disappointed in, the production side of things. But from a wrestling perspective, it wasn't a terrible show. But we got to talk about Double or Nothing because I've made no secrets about this. That the match that I am the most interested in, and I think the vast majority of AEW sickos and just AEW people alike, the most interesting match and the biggest match of consequence on this show, Double or Nothing from Glendale, is Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay for the number one contendership at All In against Jon Moxley. We're assuming Jon Moxley. I have no reason to believe, even if he has another world title match, Jon Moxley is going to be the world title, is going to be the world champion for All In Texas coming up in July. So I've literally thrown this out there for the last several weeks since this match was made official. Hangman should absolutely win this match, and that is not to discredit Will Ospreay and the type of star he has been and the flag bearer that he has been for AEW and what he has done in terms of how over he is. I'm not dismissing that. But the reality of the situation is the story is there with Hangman. It's in Texas. He's a cowboy. It just makes so much sense. He's got history with Moxley. The story writes itself. And you have a chance to right the wrong that you did last year. That being said, I totally understand going with Bryan Danielson, but seeing where we are now, hindsight's 2020. They shouldn't have gone with that. And Bryan Danielson would have told you, don't give me the world title. But they did. And you know what? If Tony Khan is one good thing, he, when it comes to retiring people or people who are getting ready to go, he doesn't go the traditional route of having them go out on their backs. He sends legends out the right way, how they want to go out. And, hey, he overruled Sting losing his final match. He gave Sting a win. Bryan Danielson, he let Bryan Danielson do what the heck he wanted to at the end and basically have himself killed on live television. So I'm going to take this a step further, and a lot of people in AEW are going to get mad at me with this take. I'll tell you this right now, and I don't know Hangman Adam Page's contract situation with AEW. I don't know. I know he re-upped pretty recently. If I'm Hangman Adam Page and I don't win this match, I get the hell out of AEW. Because this would have been the latest example of AEW completely missing the boat on their biggest star. And I've been on record saying this for multiple months, multiple weeks on this show. Hangman Adam Page is not only the best character and the best professional wrestler in AEW, he's maybe the best character in the entirety of this industry right now. In terms of character work, in terms of his ability in the ring, in terms of what he offers and what he has done, and completely reworking himself over this arc of the last 18 months. Remember, this was a guy who they built the whole thing around when he won the world title the first time. This is even more compelling what he's done with the arc with Swerve Strickland, from being the lovable cowboy to just this deranged maniac to now having this, rediscovery of just how bad and what the darkness, really brought him to, and it didn't give him anything. Like, this is compelling shit. It's unlike anything that you see in AEW. It's unlike anything that you see in this industry. They could have they brought him back off of that hiatus after having, I think it was his second child, had a chance to have him face Swerve Strickland at Wembley Stadium in that match and have him be the world champion. They didn't do it. And then they completely neglected giving Hangman any opportunities really of note, except if they were in multi-man matches. But now we're starting this arc towards him going back to being a babyface, but a conflicted babyface. For him to be the one to conquer Jon Moxley, I think could honestly be one of the things, and I've said this before, could save AEW. It really could save AEW. He is with Will Ospreay, all due respect to Will Ospreay, that's not going to net anything in the grand scheme of things. He wins the world championship, and then what? And then what? Give him a story. Give Will Ospreay a story. Give him some sort of arc to some sort of thing to overcome. Stretch out the whole thing that he had with MJF over the course of a year and have him win the world title in his home country of England next year when they go back to Wembley. This story writes itself. And I almost feel in the last 3 years since Hangman had that infamous promo with CM Punk, which really started the domino effect of events that really ultimately led to CM Punk's exit from the company. It almost feels like Hangman has been punished for the last 3 years. And if he doesn't win tonight at Double or Nothing, it's almost like Tony Khan's made up his mind about him, and he's still a very petty individual. And and you know what? There is a convenient out in saying, hey, giving it to Will Ospreay is not a completely and utterly terrible decision. It's not, because Will Ospreay is popular. He is over. He's one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. I am not dismissing that in the slightest. You can do, but I'm telling you from the context of the story and what Hangman means to this company for the last 6 years. He was in the first match of the very first Double or Nothing, almost 6 years to the day, where he won a shot at the world title, didn't win it that year, took him 2 years to win the world championship against one of his best friends in Kenny Omega, and then he loses it to a guy who ultimately he is kind of bearing the responsibility of the reason why he is not there anymore in CM Punk. And he really has not sniffed the world title picture. Yeah, he had a couple of matches here and there against Moxley, and he had a 4-way when Moxley was the champion as part of the Death Riders, but he has never really gotten an opportunity to get back to being the world heavyweight champion in this company and being the crown jewel of this. And to me, having him be the guy to ultimately end the Death Riders, I think is something that if they don't do this, AEW is completely missing the boat. And if I'm Hangman, and I don't know the type of personality, he's a very good company man, and he's done all the right things and said all the right things. If I'm a Hangman, I don't want to be there anymore. That's just me. It's like, listen, you guys have you have one of the very few great storytellers in your promotion who has literally stuck there since day one, done everything humanly possible, had the most compelling stories, from being in a tag team with Kenny Omega to, being in the first World Heavyweight Championship match to all the stuff with CM Punk, everything that he has been through. For him to be the guy to end the Death Riders would be a monumental moment. They should have gone with him last year. I understand the reasons why that, but if they pass on him again and go with Will Ospreay, that is, to me, as big of an indication as you're going to get that they are done with Hangman in terms of being the world champion. And that's a huge, huge mistake. And if I'm Hangman, I'm looking around saying, man, you guys don't see any value in me. I would leave. I would try my best to find a way to leave and go to WWE. Because at least WWE, even though their storytelling has not been great, they would know what the fuck they had with Hangman. Because there is depth to his character. There is complexities to his character. There is good wrestling with him involved with his character. And in terms of what he has been able to do in the last 18 months, when he was kind of just settling around it. And that Swerve Strickland thing just woke him the hell up. What has this guy gotten since he lost the world title? Let's think about that before I go here. His biggest noteworthy win on his resume, just think about this for a second. The most noteworthy win on his resume doesn't even count. It's the unsanctioned win in that steel cage at All Out last year. That match doesn't even count in terms of his overall record. It's not a recognized match. That's his most significant win in the last 3 years. So he has to win on Sunday night. He has to win tonight. Because if not, what is that telling you as a guy? Like you're looking around, say, man, I've been going out here. I've changed my character. I've done everything I possibly can for this company, and I can't even sniff the world title. And you're gonna go with Will Ospreay? I understand that Will Ospreay's great, but what the fuck has he done for AEW? He's done a lot of great things in the last 2 years. I've been here for 6. I was here on day 1. It is more of a big deal than people realize. And like I said, this is not anything against Will Ospreay, because I think he is a fantastic professional wrestler. He is not for everybody. He has done a lot of good for AEW. But for him to be the guy to end the Death Riders over Hangman, especially considering Hangman was in this exact same spot 1 year ago and didn't win. He lost to a legend in Bryan Danielson. What did that give us? It's a chance to right one of the biggest wrongs in professional wrestling history. And if they don't do it again, to me, if I'm Hangman, I have no reason to stay in AEW. And I don't know what his contract situation is whatsoever moving forward, but That's as big, and I understand his best friends are there. Cody Rhodes left. Okay? To me, it's just like, if not now, when? And like I said, I think so highly of this guy, and the fact that it's almost like they've been disrespecting and dicking around with this guy for 3 years. You got one opportunity to make this right. And if you don't, I don't know what this place is going to look like. I hope he wins. I'm not very optimistic that he wins. But we'll see. It's going to be a very fascinating situation playing out in the main event. Really, it's the only match on the show that really I even give a shit about. But if anything significant of note happens, like, you'll hear it here on this channel. We'll have a lot of reaction as well. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.